Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you a quick and simple card using high supply washi tape and lawn fawn dyes. Let's get started. To kick things off, I have this panel of 4¼ by 5½ cardstock. I believe it's 110 pound. And I'm kind of deciding here which ones I want to use, but ultimately I end up going with the silver glitter washi tape and the rose foil tape, both by High Supply. These were sent to me by High Supply because I had won their giveaway. They had their 7th year anniversary birthday not that long ago and had a big giveaway that I had thrown my name in the hat for, and yeah, I have a whole video showcasing all of the wonderful goodness the giveaway had in it, and let me tell you, it was amazing. I am literally set for washi tape for pretty much the rest of my life, and I couldn't be happier. The sets that I got in the giveaway were just outstanding, and all the pretty colors of washi tape, not to mention all the sequin and bubbles and flat back rhinestones and all the wonderful goodness from that giveaway, which you'll more than likely see a lot more videos involving embellishments because I don't know what I'm going to do with them all yet. But if you're coming along for the journey, like the rest of my videos, things will unfold as they develop, if you will. Anyway, like I said, I'm just going back and forth with the washi tape on a diagonal. I'm not being too precise about this. It's just, I don't know. I sat down at my desk. I wanted to make a quick card, and I had the bag of washi tape sitting right in front of me, and I thought, well, what better way to make a quick card than to just make one out of washi tape? And this is just super simple. I mean, there's no mad science involved with it. There's no working gears to this to figure out. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with the colors. And figuring out how to best line these up. So I'm not going to worry about the edges because I'm going to use the outside in stitched rectangle die, but before I do that, or before I even thought of doing that, I figured I would fold down all the sides to this. This was just a scrap piece of cardstock that I had misprinted on the back on, and thought I, didn't want to waste it, so I figured I would use it. And since my washi tape is just slightly off even, I'm going to pull it all up. And I tell you, this stuff wasn't too bad. I mean, it was sticky, but not sticky to the point where it was going to rip your paper right off. So I was quite pleased about that. And once I've got everybody all lined up on how I want them without any white gaps, I'll fold down the rest of the edges while I think about what I want to do next. Now, you don't have to fold down the edges if you're going to continue on with what I'm going to do next, but I was kind of working through the process of it in my head, kind of thinking, okay, am I going to leave this like this? Am I going to cut it down to size? How is this washi tape going to forever stick to this paper? Because even though washi tape does have stickiness to it, it's not quite as sticky as like a double-sided tape or an easy tape runner. I mean, easy tape runner does have stick to it, but once it's set, it's set. But as for washi tape, I'm not too sure. So I figured to set it in, I would just go in with the outside in stitched rectangle die, just to kind of, I guess, pierce the tape into the paper to give it a little more stability with being stuck there. And yeah, you can see the scrap piece of paper. Don't mind the stamp on the back. That's a scrap from Hint Hint, a future video, if you need to know. But that's just between us. Don't tell anybody else. That's our little secret. Okay? So once I've done that, I'm going to take this great piece of cardstock. I believe it's a Recollections brand, 110 pound, I want to say, because I don't think I have that color in regular cardstock. So while I'm figuring out what I've got to do, I've got this outside in stitched scalloped rectangle die that I'd cut out previously for a different card and didn't end up using it. So I used the outside in stitch rectangle die on the gray one just to kind of keep everything the same size, and I think I'll use the outside in stitched scallop circle die. I feel like this is starting to become some sort of drinking game with the amount of times that I'm using the outside in stitched. I wonder how many times I could say that fast. How about no? So I'm going to figure out here where I want to use it, and then I end up thinking, well, I could go with the stripey on the top and the gray on the back, and I think that would be a good match, because then that way I could have the gray kind of poking through, and I don't quite know if I'm going to turn this into a shaker or not. I mean, I probably could have, and it would have looked really cool, but instead I'm going to go over this, and off camera, I had to go back and forth a couple of times just to get a clean enough cut, because with the 110-pound cardstock and the washi tape, it was kind of tough to cut through. You could tell when I was trying to peel apart the outside in stitched rectangle die from this panel. So, I mean, I kind of went about this backwards too. You'll see in the end, I probably could have handled this a little bit more better, but I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing. It was kind of like I needed to make something. I wanted to make something. I sat down to make something, and I made something. I didn't really have much of a thought process on how I wanted to execute this card. It was just one of those, let's see where the paper takes me. And sometimes the paper speaks to me, and it speaks truth, and other times the paper speaks lies, and I don't end up making anything productive. But today was one of those days. So I'll make sure that this rectangle is all lined up on the outside in stitch scalloped one, and then I've taken some iCrafters black foam and I've gone over the back side around the scallop. I mean, this is where you could turn it into a shaker card, but I didn't really want to. I wanted to kind of keep things simple, as I probably didn't have much time while I was making this. So I'm going to go over the foam, even though it is super sticky. I'm going to go over it with some glue, just in case I need a little bit of wiggle room to properly line this up, because sometimes when I think I'm good, and I know I'm going to be good, it's not good, and other times I'm not sure, and I'm actually good. So you can see here, it's just slightly off, and with that glue I was able to kind of move it. Now, I've got that inside bit that's just gray, and I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to go about with it. So I'd had some Henry's ABC alphabet cut out in a drawer, and I thought I'd shuffle through that. Now, you don't get to see that on camera because I looked high and low in the pile of letters, and I mean this drawer is full of letters, and most of them are pretty picked over, and I was fortunate enough to find everything but another O, and I ended up finding a Q and cutting off the little tail, and everything was good. I had everything matched. So I've got like this weird, I don't know what color that is, like a light pistachio color. It's like a shimmer cardstock. I want to say it's a Recollections brand. I want to say from a 12x12 paper pack. It had like pink and blue and a yellow and this like, I don't know, pistachio green, I guess, light, I don't know what color it is. It's just this green color, I know that. And I know I keep scraps from pretty paper, and I've got a couple of boxes that I've notoriously kept scraps in that I probably really didn't need to, but I don't know. I tend to have a pile of scraps, I put it in a cardboard box or a shoe box, and then I put it on the shelf, and then I forget about it. And then start another box. I think I've got 4 boxes in total. So I bet you if I went through all 4 of those boxes, I probably could make enough cards to last me a year. But I'm probably not. I think when I finally do go and decide to clean out my stash, I'll be fine. So I'm just going to use this little scallop piece to line things up, just to kind of keep everything in that circle. And then once I'm done that, I'll throw a block on it and kind of mash that down and let it sit for a while, and then I'll come back in with that circle, kind of give me an idea of where I need to cut. Now, I wasn't sure how much real estate I had on the inside behind the stripy panel, and I probably could have initially cut this down more, but I was going on gut, and sometimes my gut doesn't tell me I'm right. So I ended up putting glue all over this, and then once I get it in there, I find that it's a bit too long. But when I look at it being a bit too long, I think, you know what, that probably would have been a cool idea, just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. I mean, I could have stopped there, but I had glue all over the back side of it. So I ended up popping that out and trimming it up. But I think maybe next time I make this card, I might have that popped up like that, kind of on an arc, because that looked kind of cool. So once I figure out where my reverse tweezers are, I am going to move that down and line everybody up so it's nice and even and neat. And I love these things. If I can't stress enough, get yourself a pair of these if you don't have them. I tried using regular tweezers the other day because I couldn't find these. It was so disheartening. I tell you, it was like I had to relearn how to use my fingers and tweezers all over again. Because it's one thing to pluck your eyebrows, it's another thing to pluck your cardstock. So once I've glued on that little tiny heart, my card is complete. I've put it on a card base, and ho ho ho, here's my magical card. So if you've enjoyed today's content, you know what to do. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.